What's up, Hoop Reporters? It's your boy Manny here, and welcome to another edition of the Hoop Report, the NAIA Women's Basketball Podcast, episode 16, our first post-conference preview episode that we're recording. I know you guys have already seen our interview, or my interview with Coach Webb from John Brown. Very great interview. Hope you guys go check it out. But Lex, let's get right into it. We're here. We're excited. We've been waiting for this day for a little minute now. It is the first annual My Team NAIA Women's Hoop Report draft. We're going to go through every conference and we're going to pick our teams that we're going to rock with throughout the year, and we'll explain a little bit by what we mean with when we say rocking with these teams. So when we look over here at the graphic, again, 20 rounds, we're going to go through all 20 conferences. Lex will have the first pick. I'll have the second pick in each round. No repeating teams. So if I pick, say, a team from the AAC, then Lex cannot pick that team. And then we can also have trades throughout the draft. It'll be a little complicated, but we'll try to explain it the best we can. Basically, if I want to trade for somebody that Lex picked in the River States, I got to give up somebody in another conference so that we even out and we still have 20 total teams when it's all said and done. When we say rock with these teams, what we mean is teams that we don't necessarily have to pick them, but we're excited for them. We're going to root for them to have a successful season, or however we feel their successful season will be deemed when it's all said and done. And then that in that sort of aspect, we're not necessarily saying that they're going to win the conference or they're going to go on a crazy run throughout the year. We just feel like we really like these teams and we want to give them a little bit of extra love. We do have possibly release, pick up, like free agency, but that's kind of in the air, but we definitely want to throw that out there in case maybe you guys do want to see that. And if you do, let us know down in the comments below if that is something you guys would be interested in doing. Quick recap of all the conferences and the nicknames we gave them. This is going to be the order that we draft in, so we'll start in the left with the HBCU, the Sun, the AAC, River States, so on and so forth. So you see all of the names on the screen. We gave the Crossroads and the GPAC their long-awaited nicknames, the depth for the Crossroads, because we were looking in none of the conferences we really talked about the depth, even though there are a lot of conferences out there that are deep, but we felt like since we didn't really give a nickname like that out, we're going to give it to the Crossroads. And then when it came to the GPAC, they're the standard. I mean, you've had the two-time national champions now in a row, so I feel like they are the standard, and they have a lot of other national contending teams in that conference as well. But I'm very excited to get into it. Lex, are you ready for this draft?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get right into it. So, a little surprise for you, Lex. With the first overall pick in the 2025-2026 NAIA Women's Hoop Report My Team Draft, Darlex will be picking
Talladega of the HBCU.
Talladega from the HBCU. Talk to me a little bit about why you like Talladega.
You look at this roster, you get to see a lot that is returning with Cameron Jones, Tajari Lewis, Beautiful Curry, and within a conference that is already very shifting in terms of what's returning, what's they're losing, and everybody essentially being a recruiting class-based kind of conference, it makes sense that the one team that essentially has most of their core returning is who I would pick, just because they know what they're looking for.
I like that. Again, there's a lot of teams that you could definitely go with in the HBCU. I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to go with my first overall pick in the My Team draft. A new team. I was debating between those two Red River teams. I'm going to go with Houston-Tillotson. I feel like they have a little bit more edge over Paul Quinn from a returning standpoint. I feel like they both have a very good returning group, but I feel like between Houston's Walesia Burleson, Aaliyah Carter, both of them combined about 23 and 14 a night, multiple double-doubles throughout the season, multiple 20-point scoring games. I'm going to give them the nod for right now, just because I feel like that core is a little bit more intact than a Paul Quinn's. I do think both teams will have a very good season. I did want to go with one of the Red River teams, but I ended up going with Houston-Tillotson just because I feel like, again, like I said, the core seems a little bit more enticing, at least to me. Now we're going to head over to the Sun. Obviously, with my situation, I'm going to be grandfathered in as St. Thomas being my team for this Sun Conference for the season, and hopefully for a very long time. With that being said, Lex is an honorary member. All right, we're not going to just dismiss the fact that he did graduate from St. Thomas and he's a Bobcat through and through, but for the sake of the podcast and the sake of unbiased coverage, he is going to pick another team. I don't know what team he's going to pick, so let's see what happens. But, Lex, who is going to be your first pick in the Sun Conference?
For the Sun Conference, and given the shirt you're wearing right now, I hope there are no Bobcat listeners, because if they're listening, they don't know who I am. But my pick will have to be the Florida Memorial Lions.
Talk about unbiased. I understand it. Go ahead. Talk to people a little bit about the Lions.
You can't disrespect the reigning champs. It's just plain and simple. Yes, they're going to be experiencing change, losing their player of the year, Ember and Misha Moore, but they won. And it's not the first time. You have to give them the respect that they have the potential to repeat.
No, I definitely agree with that. And I mean, even a little bit more on them. While they did lose a lot, not just obviously the player of the year, they brought in a very good very good transfer group. And again, with Coach Kevin there in his first year to do that, you can only expect it to at least compete at the bare minimum. Like at the bare minimum, the Lions are going to be one of the top 2 seasons in the conference. So as much as it hurts me to say, again, unbiased on this platform, I understand the pick for sure. I'm going to head over now to the AAC. Lex, with your first overall pick in the AAC, because again, I went with St. Thomas, who is going to be your team in this conference?
My first overall pick, I'm going to go with Milligan.
Milligan. Interesting. Talk to me a little bit about the Buffs.
Honestly, I look at their roster and I see a giant pop out with Samaj Clark being first team all conference and first team all defense. And I very much see Clark helping lead this team into another regular season championship, potentially another conference championship as well.
I like it. Again, Milligan, nothing against the Buffs. I definitely think they were one of my top 3 in the short list at the end of it. My final 2, though, and eventually the one that I did end up going with for my pick in the AAC, it's going to be Pikeville. I'm very high on the Bears. Everybody knows this from our AAC preview. They are one of my favorite teams in the entire NAIA. I just love the returning group that they have. I really believe, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it till the wheels fall off. I'm driving the bus on the Allie Stone, Rachel Bush bandwagon. I don't care. I feel like they have the best offensive duo in the conference, easily, and then I think they're up there for the best duo in both ways. I really feel like between the two of them, 47 double-figure scoring games, 23 20-plus point games, they combine for about 36, 12, and 5 assists. Like, they do it on both sides of the offense when you talk about scoring and playmaking. I feel like both of them could have complete specialty award seasons. I think Stone easily is a player of the year front runner right now. I think she's got to be the favorite. It just makes sense. And then I also think you've got a situation where for Bush, she could be defensive player of the year. I think she could be the defensive player of the year. I think she could have a very good year on that side of the ball. And then again, both of them could probably get some votes on the other award that I just mentioned. So I'm very excited of the Bears. I'm going to go with Pikeville. Johnson, want to give you a little bit of love. You did have a great season, and you were one of the finalists for both of us. But I think my love for the Bears just kind of grew a little bit, and Lex is rocking with the Buffs. He just feels like that year is going to repeat. So I can't really be mad at that. Heading over now to the River States Conference. But the first overall pick in the River States Conference, Lex team is going to be
IU Southeast.
A little treat.
They're returning 10 of their players, which is statistically 2 solid rotations. You only really need 8 people on the team to make it successful. But bringing back 10, which is an even higher percentage of your odds, and in the gaps that you are losing with Lexi Starr and Grace Stapleton, you bring newcomers, 4 of them, and you have a couple of transfers coming in that are going to be able to fill in those gaps very easily, which would just make the process that much smoother when it comes to stepping into conference play and overtaking those.
I like it. I'm not mad at it at all. For me and my team, I'm rocking with the River States. I don't think it's going to be a surprise after our preview of the River States. Rio Grande. I think I'm saying it right now. We were corrected on social media, so I want to make sure that I'm saying it right. But I'm rocking with this team just like you are with Florida Memorial when we talk about the Sun. They've been doing it even longer. You know, you're looking at one of the best dynasties. They put the nasty in dynasty when we talk about women's basketball in the River States Conference. I really feel like you got to give them that nod of, hey, they've done it for so many years. Why would we assume they can't do it again? They have a chip on their shoulder right now. When the preseason polls came out for the River States, they were number 2. And while kind of crazy to say number 2 as a chip on their shoulder, I understand it from a standpoint of, again, we've done this before, and you're still not going to at least pick us to do it again. You know, if it doesn't happen, all right, but you're not going to at least pick us. They have a great incoming group. I'm not going to say it's a great returning group because it's really not. Only 2 players are really coming back that I feel like were impact players last year. Looking at mainly Peyton Johnson, putting up about 9 and 4 with 2 assists per game. So I think I'm looking at her to have a little bit more of a leap on the offensive side of the ball. And the offense is where I feel like the biggest question marks come in because you put up almost 90 points a game last season. With you losing a really good chunk of your core, how is that going to affect that points per game? And even if it does come down, is it too much of a difference, to be honest? If you go from 90 to 80, you're still an elite offense. You're still one of the best offenses in the country. So I feel like because of that cushion that they created last year, it isn't going to be too much of a nosedive, and they'll still be top 2 at least. But I think they're going to be definitely, for me, one of the teams that I'm rooting for all year. Heading over now to the CAC, a conference that, again, kind of underrated for sure. Lex, who is going to be your team in the CAC?
For the CAC, my team is going to have to be Haskell. Again, conference champions, returning their core of solid 4-man rotation with Myona, Tirza, Angela, and T. Murray combined. That is pushing 40 points. With that, already just right there. And you're also bringing in new rotations with your recruiting class. And with that, it'll definitely assist that high school group possibly take a conference again. But in addition to that, maybe clinch the regular season.
I like it. I'm actually going to go in a different direction when it comes to the CAC. With my pick in this conference, I'm going to go with Carolina. Why? This is going to be my first of a few other teams where I'm picking not necessarily on having a good season. Like, I'm not saying they're going to win the conference. I'm not saying a lot of these teams are going to win the conference.
Emotional guy.
That's what it is. I'm an emotional guy. I'm going with this team because I like the focus of culture. I like the fact they brought in 12 newcomers. I think they're going to just be more focused on laying the foundation. Now, that could lead to a lot of wins. That could lead to a really good season, and I'm all here for it. But my focus would be, and again, there's going to be a reason for this draft. Like, we're going to put point system and all this kind of stuff. Like, at the end of the year, we're going to see how all our teams do. So we're going to put it all together, and we'll explain that once we kind of get back to the end of the year and we get back into real conference play. But I feel like this is going to be a team that if they above 500 season, I think it's a success. When you're focusing on culture, you can't really focus on where you end in the season. You just got to focus on your record, and how many wins and losses you had, and translate that to, did we like how we got those wins and losses? So I'm going with Carolina. I feel like that's going to be a great pick just because, again, culture, and I can understand the importance of that before any winning and any postseason success comes in the future. Heading now over to the CCAC, Coach Caleb's neck of the woods. Lex, who is going to be your pick in this conference?
With it being Coach Caleb's neck in the woods, it's only right that I pick Coach Caleb. Olivet Nazarene will be my team for this conference. You can't shy away from the work that he's putting into making this program successful. And with Bailey having that on his resume last season, he has a chip on his shoulder with the recruiting class he's bringing in with whoever he's returning, and the core that he's setting the foundation for. It's a recipe for success.
Recipe for success is the word, and I'm not mad at you going with Coach Caleb. I definitely thought about it. I'm actually going to go with the team, though, that he and I did talk about a lot. My pick in the CCAC, I'm going to go with St. Francis. I feel like with 9 returners led by Takira Harrison and Leonie Harris, 30 points combined, 10 rebounds combined, both of them shooting about over 40% from the field. First team all conference possibility for both of these ladies. I think they lead a very good returning group. I think they lead a big continuation of last year. They had a really good year last year, one of the top teams in the conference. It's more of the same. You know, you can't be satisfied with that success. I don't think they are. I think they're going to look at the CCAC and say, you know what? It's one of the better conferences in the country, one of the more underrated conferences in the country. We have a chance to make some noise here. The entire conference definitely got some love last year, especially with Governor State, for example, making a deep run and stuff like that. But overall, I feel like St. Francis has a chance to edge themselves as one of the top 3 for sure, and then we see where the chips fall once the spring does roll around. Heading over down south now to the Red River Conference. Lex, when it comes to the Red River, who is going to be your pick?
Texas A&M San Antonio.
That one hurts. Not gonna lie.
This may be one of a couple that I may steal from you, but I did tell you beforehand, if you take any of mine, it's going to be a problem.
He did say that, and that's not a threat. That's a promise, actually.
Oh, for sure. Evelyn Lorenzo. This is going to be her year. Already pushing 18-4. Coming into this season, having not the best season, but a very good season nonetheless, in such a heavy conference. She's coming for blood in the nicest way possible. And with that being your leader, it's a scary sight.
I think you put it so eloquently on that one when you said coming for blood in the nicest way possible. For me, it's gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna go with my pick on the Red River Conference. Gotta go with one of the LSU teams. I'm going with LSU. Why? As much as it's for the team, and again, I think this is going to be a really good team, and a team last year that made the national tournament, a team that this year could contend for it again, even with an at-large bid, most likely. I'm also here for the drama. You know me. I love a little drama, love a little spice. And I just feel like you picking up not just one of the best players in the conference, but arguably the best player in the conference in Princess Goff from Louisiana Christian last year, finished 3rd in Player of the Year, 2-time first team all conference, first in the NAIA in free throws made, 14th in points per game. She led LCU last year in points, field goals, threes, assists, steals. You just pulled one of the teams that was kind of on the rise, their best player from them, and now puts it to this roster where it's going to have a very solid young returning group that are going to be stepping into year 2s and year 3s now with the Generals, who had a really good year last year, who's going to be building off of a very, very good style. And when you're losing a Daniel Hartwick, for example, there's a role for Goff to just come in and be your leading scorer, be your primary offensive focus, not necessarily your ball handler per se, but your focus who can create for others. So I really feel like the basketball makes sense, and it's just awesome to see when a player of that level is going to be joining a team that can really use it and just kind of elevate from there. And B, I'm here for the conference rivalry. I'm going to watch that LSU Louisiana Christian game now, especially when it's at LCU. I got to watch it now. So I'm definitely going for the basketball, but also a little bit for the drama. So I got to be honest. Heading over to the West, we're going to the Cal Pac now. Lex, who is going to be your team for the Cal Pac when we talk about my team draft?
Let's go. In a conference that's experiencing so much change, 2 new teams actually, and already being sort of a smaller conference, but very much more competitive, you step into this team that, when stepping into the conference, has already experienced a tough, conference sort of standing when it comes to the CAC. Stepping into this Cal Pac team where it may not be as of a challenge, it's easier for them to dominate.
I can't be mad at it because I think Northern New Mexico has to be one of the final two teams that we're talking about. And it's funny, you went in the HBCU, you went with the team that was there last year and this year, and now with the CalPAC, you went with a team that's coming in new. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go for my pick in my team draft for the CalPAC with a team that was there last year, arguably the best returning team from last year in Simpson. I think Simpson's going to have a very good season. They should be looking at Northern New Mexico as a test. Hey, I get it. You're one of the best teams in the CAC last year. You're going to come in. Statistically, you are one of the best teams in the conference already. Again, going off of last year's stats, that can't necessarily be goal correlation year to year, but off of just the numbers, they look like they're going to be a really tough team to be adding into the CalPAC. But you've got a really good returning group from last year. You've got three all-conference / honorable members in that returning group. I think you're going to be senior-led, so that's going to be very important as well, because when you're talking about a situation where this new team is coming in that could look to be a little bit of a threat, it pays to have that experience on your roster, and it pays to have that level of just, I've been there to a degree, and now I feel like this is the year for us to make that push and go out and try and make some noise when it comes to the CalPAC. Again, all you need to do is to win 2 games, and before you know it, you've won a conference championship already. So I'm very excited to see what Simpson does in the CalPAC as my team to rep that conference. Heading over to the GSAC. Lex.
The shot selection conference, my pick in the spirit of shot selection will be arguably the best shooting team in this conference, which would be the Masters.
It hurts a little bit. I'm not mad at it, but it hurts a little bit.
I can't pass up on that. Returning champs, returning not their best players, but returning a core that has seen the growth, has seen the success, and success being from an individual standpoint with Marin Lenz and Lexi Hernandez, but success as a whole with, winning the conference in general. You have 5 to 6 strong returning ladies that are going to step in and fill in those gaps and really help this Masters team continue to grow and see that success much more consistently.
I'm not mad at it because, like you said, the Masters are the Masters. They have been one of the best teams in the GSAC, for a very long time, and they're going to be one of the best teams in the country. Perennial national team, I would say, is definitely what they've garnered over the past few years. For me, I'm going to go with a team that's a little near and dear to my heart in a very short time. I'm going to go with Park Gilbert. I'm going to Shooters U. I'm here for it. I love it. I love the off the court element of it. I love the fact that Coach York is like going all in on it. He's cool with it. He wants it. Like, he wants to have that publicity. He wants to have that reputation out there in the country of this team is going to get up a lot of threes. This team is going to press a lot. This team is going to do this. You got to stop it. Either you're not going to outbuck the Bucks, so you got to figure out a way to slow us down, or we will run the score up on you. I feel like the other part of it too is looking at the past few years. They've made it to that semifinals. They've made it right there. There's a glass ceiling that I feel like has been kind of hovering over this team, especially in Coach York's young season. I believe he's going to year 3, if I remember correctly from our interview. And year 3, I feel like it's going to be that push. I feel like year 3 is typically when you've taken over a program.
Year 3 is very important.
That's the one where year 1, it's still some layover from the previous staff and from the peers regime. Year 2 is your first off season, really, that you've been looking and getting everything ready for. Now year 3, we're hitting the ground running, and I feel like this is going to be the year that you push through it. I do think Alana Palacios is going to be a big player. I'm giving her player of the year level expectations. She needs to be at least in the running. Maybe not going to win it, but if the Park Gilbert team gets enough wins, she puts up the numbers I know she's going to put up with her elite two-way ability. I think she could definitely win that award, and if not, be a finalist. I mean, top two for sure. Heading over now to a conference that I think it was hard for me to pick for sure in this Southern States, but I eventually got to a pick. I don't know if I'm 100% with it because of all the other teams that are out there, but who are you going to go with in the Southern States for your
in this conference that, we've determined it to be seedless, with it literally having the ability to fluctuate? I went with the most comfortable pick for me, which was UT Southern. That's a group that in this seedless conference, if there's anyone that I can say can determine a seed, it would probably be them. Looking at Ashley Dickey, Silky Vasquez, Lauren Smith returning, at all you need to set the foundation for success within this Southern States Conference.
It hurts. It hurts because I'm a big believer in this UT Southern team. I really feel like they're going to have a very good season. I think you can't go wrong with them at all. But with that being said, with my pick in the Southern States Conference, I'm going to go with a team that has proven to have, in my opinion, the best big three in the country. I don't care. I'm rocking with that statement until I see otherwise. Winning is winning is winning, and winning is a standard at Loyola. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with the Wolfpack because they've won 7 out of the last 11 conference titles. They've had 12 straight national tournament appearances. They're probably going to have a number 13 now. But they have the best big three that has been solidified for years. We talk about dynasty with Rio Grande over in the River States. There's a dynasty here in terms of just dominance and player-focused success. When we talk about Odell, Thornton, and Travis, freshman year, all freshman team, all 3 of them. Second year, all conference team, all 3 of them. Third year, first team, all conference now for all 3 of them. They've reached it. Like, this is it. When it clicks, and it has clicked since day one from a chemistry standpoint, and it's only going to get better and has gotten better as their individual abilities have gotten better, as their individual just skill set has improved at the college level. With those 3 combining for 39 and 20 rebounds, all over 40% shooting, it's so hard for me not to be excited for this team, and it's so hard for me not to pick them. So I am going to pick them as my team in the Southern States. I think it's going to be a tough conference for sure. Like Lex and I like to mention, it is the seedless conference for a reason. But this team is going to be one of the best teams in the conference and in the country, and a big reason is going to be because of those 3 leading the charge. Heading over now to the AMC. We're halfway through. We are in round 11 now of our My Team draft. Lex, who are you rocking with in the American Midwest Conference?
I'm going quite on the other side of the seeding with this conference, just because I like to emphasize that this is a defense to offense kind of conference, and looking at the stats and realizing who's coming back and who's returning, I believe Central Baptist has the recipe for success in overcoming this hump with the new coaches, new teams stepping in, and all the change happening within the conference. If they keep their 3-headed dragon that I'm considering to also be a big 3 with Reagan Head, Addison Hudspeth, and Riley Whittington, that has a recipe to mirror, if not trump, the same big 3 that you just spoke on within the previous conference, with sticking together as long as possible and experiencing growth in every season they step into.
I'm so glad that you said it like that, because I do see a lot of mirror and giving people a little bit of a preview for our first episode, previewing opening day specifically. They are one of the teams that are going to be opening the day on the 23rd against Philander Smith. So we'll definitely talk about that game on the next episode, but giving the people a little preview, I'm very high on that CBC team. I think you hit on the nail. Those 3 together are going to be a team, going to be a big 3 to reckon with for a long time to come if they do stay together and things develop the way that we expect it to. As far as my team goes, with my AMC pick, I'm going to go my first team that I'm picking where the schedule really swayed me a little bit, Stevens College. The Stars have such a tough non-conference schedule. I've talked to the coaching staff. I've talked to the players that they're excited about, and I'm excited about the players too. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited about the coach. I'm excited about all of it. But that schedule, man, it from day one, it caught me and it has not let me go. I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it, about how it's gonna go. And from a standpoint of either way, whether it's a game, it's a situation where they run off and they have a very exciting and very crazy run, or it's a little bit of both, or maybe it's a little bit of a struggle. Whatever the case may be, I'm just here for that schedule. I think you and I obviously are very high on schedules determine a lot from a coach's perspective. If the coach went out and scheduled these non-conference games, it's for a reason. Whether they want to get tested, whether they want to be competing with and getting some national attention on certain aspects, I have to respect the schedule. And so as much as I'm respecting the players, and I think the players are going to be very high again, I'm mainly looking at Jinqua Perry Ellis. She's going to be my biggest returner. First team all conference last year, now newcomer of the year in the conference, 17-3 with 3 assists, 2 steals, 49, almost 50% shooting from the field. She's definitely going to be my spearhead for sure, but her, along with the rest of the team and the coaches going against this non-conference schedule, is going to be what I'm most excited about. Heading over now to the to the Sooner Athletic. Lex, conference is going to be a little deep. Who are you rocking with in the...
I've said it before. I don't think I'll say it enough. If you're not on the Kool-Aid for Megan Nestor, I don't know what you're doing. This Wayland Baptist team, even with the experience of a new coach stepping in, this is going to be a team where it won't be a situation where the coach is trying to apply knowledge to the players. A situation where the players led by Megan Nestor are going to be telling Coach Jordan Vessels what exactly this Wayland Baptist team is about and how we can continue to regain success.
I'm with you. I really am. Because again, we haven't gotten confirmation yet or anything like that. Well, as when we're recording this, because we haven't really checked on a lot of the rosters since the preview, just to give ourselves a little bit of a break. If Megan Nestor was not there, would it change your pick at all?
To continue to stay true to my committed mentality, I gotta say 10 toes down. I'm not gonna back away just because Megan Nestor isn't there. It's a huge difference for sure. But I'm a committed man.
We love that for you. 10 toes down. I love it. I just wanted to see where you were at. Just wanted to give you a chance to show the people the kind of man you are.
Don't put my emotions, so.
All right. Heading over now again to the Sooner Athletic. For me specifically, I'm gonna go with no shock. The team I just recorded with, the coach that I just recorded with, Coach Webb over at John Brown. I've talked ad nauseum about this team, about this Golden Eagles team. You want to hear any more about it? Go to our SAC preview. Go to my interview with Coach Webb. I don't really need to harp on it too much. I'll just say what I've been saying in a shorter version. There's another big three here brewing between Snodgrass, Ferguson, and Gottspooner. 29 and 22 rebounds combined between those two. And specifically, I think Snodgrass could have a player of the year type season. 24 double-doubles last year in year one. I don't see her going down from that. I don't see her not getting at least 20 this year. I think she's going to have the numbers. The question will be if the wins will be there, but this team could be the deepest in the conference. They have the brightest future to me right now in the conference, and so I'm rocking with this SAC team. Now, for the KCAC, just had media day the other day. Great interviews done on Urban Edge Network. Make sure you guys go check it out. I was able to catch a few of those throughout the day. Very high on a lot of those teams. Lex, who are you going with in the KCAC?
Bethel. New coach Jared Shoemaker is going to take the 15 that are returning, led by Kendall Locke, and the 8 that are coming into this team fresh, and they're going to make this team now something to be scared of. Stepping into a conference that contains Kansas Wesleyan, Tabor, Evangel, all of these heavy hitters as far as threats, you now have to throw in Bethel into this conversation.
I like the highness you are on Bethel. I really do. I can appreciate that from an analyst standpoint and from a fan standpoint. I'm here for it. Again, this is the purpose of this draft, to give some love to these teams that maybe aren't going to get it throughout the year. I'm here for it. I think Coach Shoemaker is going to had the right mindset in her interview that I watched. I think she's going to have the right mindset going into the season. And again, the goal expectation is already championship. She already talked about it from day one. And so they love to hear that from the top. And it's only going to trickle down as the season goes on for everybody else in the program. For me, when we talk about this team, this conference, the KCAC, one of the deeper conferences, trying to think about when I was going through trying to make my pick. For me, I'm going to go with Evangel. I'm just really high on the group that is coming in from the returning side of things. Coach Wallace, who I'm a sucker for a good story. What can I say? Coach played at Avila. Avila? I gotta remember how to say that one. But she played there in the KCAC, then transferred over to Evangel, graduated from Evangel. She's been in the KCAC. She's been with a lot of these programs. She's been with a lot of these teams. So just that coming back story, that coming home story is always a cool thing. And I think that level of emotion and that level of interest, just you can't put a number on it. I think it's going to definitely help some of the players. Again, she has a winning experience coming from Mission, obviously before she came from Evangel. So I'm high on that side of things as well. I love when you have the returning group that they have. I love that she's going to be bringing some players from Mission. You already know that's how that works. So I'm curious to see who those players are. I was able to catch a little bit of her interview yesterday with On the Urban Edge, and she told a story that I definitely wanted to share here. Again, last year she was at Mission, but even at Mission, she ended up her first game, I believe she said, or one of her first games was at Evangel when they had their first official game to welcome in their new gym. So I just thought that was like a cool little story, little thing to have there for her to have played there. The gym wasn't there when she was playing there, and for her to be a part of the first game there just kind of added a little different element to it. So I definitely wanted to harp on that and just let the people know. Because
story guy, such an emotional sucker.
I am. What can I say? It is what it is. But I'm definitely rocking with Evangel from the KCAC. Heading over to the WHAC now. In the WHAC, who are you going with for your pick?
The biggest team that is going to give you WHAC that you don't even expect. Hear me on this, because you know it's early. We're still running on fumes. Northwestern Ohio.
You lost me with the joke, and then you said them, and I was like, of course.
Hear me out. J.C. Allen, Alicia Lawson. Two individuals, 40. That's easy 40 points. On a certain night, that can be an easy 60. I'm high off of them. Maybe it's just the fatigue speaking. But I'm confident in this Northwestern Ohio team. You're going to pack a punch, pun intended.
I'm gonna be there with you. I'm not with the puns, but I am with you on Northwestern Ohio. I am with you on how good this team is gonna be, on how good this team can be, and the upside that they have. For my team in the WHAC, I'm not gonna throw a pun out there, y'all. I promise you, I will not do that. But I will say,
you butcher names. You don't need to add puns to it.
You think you're funny. You think you're funny today. I see. I'm going to go with Lords. Lords, I feel like this is a team where the chip on the shoulder and the prove-it season could not be more evident with this team. This team last year obviously made that great run in the WHAC tournament. They had a great run all the way through and eventually winning the tournament. A lot of people probably said, "Oh, they got hot at the right time. They caught lightning in a bottle. Whatever, it was a magical run. Whatever you want to say, except for them." So I'm banking on them going in with the mindset of we have to prove it. Even though we did it, not a lot of people probably thought we could do it, except the people in this circle, in this locker room, on this campus. Now you got to go out there and show, no, it wasn't a fluke. I don't necessarily mean you need to win the conference championship again, even though I know that's the goal. I mean, let's make another deep playoff run. Let's get there. Let's get a game before there, whatever the case may be. But don't go out there and have the same season. Have a better regular season. Have a great postseason run, and let people know, like, oh no, this Lord's team is here to stay. I am looking at, for my biggest returner, Emma Pedroza, first team all conference last year, 18, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 13 20-point performances, and then one 30-point performance and 4 double-doubles. Also had a near triple-double as well. She's going to be my biggest returner, absolutely, from day one. I'm going with Lords. Lex, I'm really excited for this team. Now we're going to head over to the HOA, the Heart, the Jungle. Or I think that's when we just actually started nicknaming these conferences.
The Jungle.
For the Jungle, who are you going with as?
For the Jungle, it's no surprise, but I have to take Mid-American. I do. I really do. You have all the accolades to your name. The A in Mid-American stands for accolades. 2 first-team All-Americans. Well, 1 first-team All-American, 2 first-team All-Conference, a second-team All-Conference, a Freshman of the Year, the Player of the Year, a Newcomer of the Year, a third-team All-Conference, a Coach of the Year, the Assistant Coach of the Year. The list goes on.
The list does go on.
And it will continue to go on because we're going to add 2-time consecutive regular season champion, potential conference champion.
I'm not mad at it.
The rest will be history.
I'm not mad at it at all. I think you can't go wrong with that pick. For me, in the HOA, in the Jungle, I'm going with a more underrated team, more under the radar team. I'm going with Clark. I'm going with the Clark Pride. I feel like you have a great returning group led by Zoe Kennedy, 18, 45, 36, almost 35, 36, almost 37% from a 3-point line. The late last season wins are what's kind of swaying me here. You know me, I'm a big how you end the season can tell a lot about how you're going into the offseason, and then how your offseason goes obviously will help lead into a great regular season start or early season start. The way they had a lot of late season success, late season wins, and playoff level experience. Not playoff experience, obviously, but I'm saying playoff level experience because I'm pretty sure they missed the playoffs just by a spot, if I remember correctly. So to have that, and even if they did make it just in, to make it in, that experience, you cannot underestimate how important that is, especially for a team that maybe was a little bit younger or on the younger side. So this team, I'm very excited to see what they can do. Build off this. I'm assuming because of the great end of the season, you had a great offseason, very eager, very excited, very hungry, and I'm hoping that leads into preseason, and I'm hoping that it can lead into the start of the regular season and just snowball into a consistent cycle. So that's kind of what I'm banking on here.
Optimistic.
I've been told that. Now heading over to the Frontier, which I am excited about. It might be the conference I'm most excited about, aside from obviously the Sun. I'm just so excited about this conference because of the merger with the North Star, or what was the North Star. Lex, talk to me about this conference.
At the conference, we're talking about my pick. Providence. Providence. Yes, you can't ignore they're losing a very strong piece of their core with Ashley Maldonado. First team all conference, 15.5 points, 6 boards, 5 assists. But, and this was told to us first through our coach's interview, if I'm not mistaken, but filling in that gap will be a 4th leading scorer in the NAIA, Brooke Dial. And I'm going to also quote Coach from that interview. Although our team looks different, we should be in the mix this year. Our incoming kids are great, and our freshmen are impact kids.
We love that.
Such a heavy scorer. You bring in impact pieces in a conference that's experienced so much change. You hit the bull right on the head starting off. The bull will not be able to catch you. Don't try this at home, though. I'm not a bull rider. Nonetheless, this Providence team, take some Kool-Aid, sit back, watch some popcorn, enjoy the madness.
All I'm going to say is Lex clearly woke up on the funny side of the bed because this man's just trying to drop jokes left and right now. It's kind of crazy.
It's the fumes.
It might be the fumes. Now, for my pick, a little more, well, still might be a little crazy because this is me again going with a new team to the conference. Granted, the North Star's not around, so it's not really a transfer. I'm going to Dakota State. I'm going to Dakota State now. Rocky Mountain was definitely a team that made our short list and definitely a team that we thought about for sure. A team that I think they were the number 1 seed, if I remember correctly, last year in the Frontier. I'm going with Dakota State just because, similar to Lourdes, I feel like you have a chip on your shoulder. But this is a little different. Dakota State has been the standard in the Frontier for the better part of a decade. Like, the better part of that last 5 to 6 years. You've had the, I believe, 6-time now Coach of the Year. You've had a solid contender year in, year out. You've been a top 10 team in the country. You've been the conference champion, like, it has been your conference that you've run. It's no shock for me or anything, but they're a hot take to say that. But now you're transferring over to a Frontier conference that had a lot of national teams last year, that had a lot of success last year, that had a deep conference last year. How does that go? What happens? Where do we go from there? So that's where my head is at, and I'm excited for that reason. I do think they're going to go out there and shock isn't the word. I think they're going to go out there and meet expectations with being one of the top teams in the Frontier. Now, do I say the number 1 team? Look, I'm not really ready to say that just yet, but I think they'll be top 3 for sure in the mix. And then when postseason time comes, they'll still be one of the teams that gets an at-large bid. I don't think, unless they have a nosedive of a season, they're gonna miss the national tournament. So I'm very excited to see what this team does when we come back to it. Lex, looking at the next conference, the Mid-South, my home away from home. I like to say, if you pick this team, we probably won't talk, except, I don't know how, I'm not going to talk. We're not going to talk. If you pick my team, we're not going to talk. I don't know how we're going to figure out how to do a podcast without talking, but if you pick my team, we're not going to talk. Who are you picking in the front, in this
team? We're just going to close the episode. Freed Hardeman.
You're good. I love Freed Hardeman, but you're good.
For now. Honestly, I'm quite high on the Satterley sisters. Rachel Satterley and Jenna Satterley, both creeping around 10 points per game, 4 boards, 2 assists. As a unison, they both provide a little spice to the game that this roster does need, being able to kind of do it all and still be impactful. But your front loader for this roster is going to be Carissa Curtis for sure. 13 points, 5 boards, pushing a 50-40-90 split. Coming into this Mid-South Conference, which without a doubt is continuously going to be competitive. If you keep your morals and sort of your unspoken rules intact when playing these Cumberlands, playing the Campbellsvilles, the Georgetowns, you'll be set, honestly. And I'm excited to see how they really harp on that.
We are going to play Freed Hardeman for our second game of the season in St. Louis and at UHSP. So I get to see a lot of teams over there, and I'm very excited to see this team up close and personal. I'm excited for it. You know, we've been obviously preparing our team and our ladies for it because they are one of the best teams in the country. They were number 7 last season to end the year, and they made, I want to say, Elite 8, if not at least a Sweet 16 run. So I'm very excited to see what this team does. For my team, though, and again, no shocker, really. I have to, and I want to go with this team. My team in my team draft for the Mid-South is going to be Bethel. Obviously, I'm going with the Wildcats. I'm very high on Coach Nelson and his returning group. I'm very high on the Hart sisters. I am especially high on Micah Hart. Yes, she's the younger sister, but Player of the Year is in contention here. I understand Madison's still there and she's going to get her numbers. The girl's a walking bucket. She'll roll out of bed, give you 20 and 10, and go back to sleep like nothing ever happened.
Younger sister doesn't mean anything because your younger brother's better than you.
That is such a low blow that you just put on air. It's actually crazy, and you and I may have to have a talk off air about that because that's crazy. My brother's going to love that, but that's actually crazy. That's a little wicked. That's really wicked. You really went there. It's true, but you went there. That's wild. That's actually wild.
You're just in denial.
I'm not in denial. I'm not. I know. I've always said it, actually. I've always said it. But that was beside the point. Back to the Hart sisters. Crazy segue, crazy tangent. Back to the Hart sisters. I feel like Micah's going to have a player of the year contending type of season. I think she's going to be up there in points, in assists, in steals as well as one of the better perimeter defenders in the conference. And I think with the returning group you have, you're adding in great pieces. You're pretty much returning everybody from last year's run. Build off the late season surge. Similar to a lot of these teams. I talked about Clark earlier. You end the year so strong. Start the year stronger. Start the year strong. Don't fall in that hole, because while you did it once, you can't bank on that. So I'm definitely big on them starting the year strong. If they start the year above 500 by the time you get to conference play, which is about where they were, maybe a little bit more this year, maybe 2 to 3 games above 500, I'll be very excited to set up them for that run, that gauntlet that is the Mid-South from a conference side of things. Heading over now to the Cascade. Lex, this is a make or miss conference. Who are you making it with in the Cascade?
College of Idaho. In a conference that's experiencing so much change, with easily your top 4 big hitters losing key pieces to their roster and experiencing the uncertainty of being able to make that up as seamlessly as one would hope. College Idaho was the team for me that I can confidently say has their foundation still intact going into the offseason and leading into this season. They haven't experienced much of a change, but they have experienced the challenges that the Cascade did come with. So with keeping a lot of the same faces and the same talent, they know what they experience and they know what they're looking for.
I like that pick. I like College of Idaho. I think they are going to be a team that contends on a under the radar type of aspect. I think they might be overlooked to start the year. By midway point, I could even see them receiving votes and being a top 25 team in the polls. For me, in the Cascade, I'm going with a team that you're adding internally. You're adding by bringing somebody back. My biggest thing is you're adding Gabby and Olivia. 2 players that were all-conference players. You're basically bringing back 4 all-conference players, technically, that were on the roster last year. Obviously, again, Gabby and Olivia did not play. But Olivia, in her case, she was an All-American the last time she was on the court in 2024. Both ladies combined put up 20 and 12 on a consistent basis. Or, again, combined, that's what they're about averaging. And then both of them are shooting over 30% from a three-point line. Again, we are very big on the three-pointer being a weapon in this conference. So you're adding that to what was already a number 2 seed last year in the conference. You're adding that to already a team that was competing with Lewis and Clark and Southern Oregon, College of Idaho, and all these other teams. You can't even overanalyze or overestimate what that does, because it's not a situation of, even if it was a freshman or a transfer that gets hurt and now she still hasn't played on the court, she still hasn't been in those games, so it's a little bit different. This is a player who's been there. These are players who've been there. They know what the system is. They know what the offense is. They know what the program standard is. So for this Owls crew, it is plug, play, and just watch the movie. Just watch it and watch it go, watch it work. There'll be some lumps. There'll be some skips here and there. There'll be some tough breaks, but I'm very high on this Oregon Tech team in the Cascade going into 25-26 season. The Crossroads. Last 2 conferences here. We started. I thought it was just a poetic way. When I was trying to think about how do I want to do this draft order, I thought, let's go backwards. And we go into the season the way we started the offseason. Crossroads and GPAC. For the Crossroads, who are you going to go with for your My Team draft? Again, you got 2 picks left. First one from the Crossroads.
Any team that Abby McNally is on. Marion. You have the as Player of the Year and Player of the Year, first team All-American, first team All-Conference. And just one person, and just one. I don't even know how to describe the amount of impact that McNally provides to not only her team, but the Crossroads entirely. Basically 20 points, 13 boards, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Mesmerized.
Honestly, I'm a first-hand experience at that. We played Marion last year at Marion, and some people are just born bucket getters, and she's one of them. No emotion, no real hoorah here and there. Just I'm gonna get in my spots, get to my moves, get to my stuff, and just hopefully you gotta pray she misses. She's one of the best, like you said, one of the best two-way players in the country, not just at the Crossroads level, but in the NAIA as a whole. So great pick. Can't be mad at that one. For me, I'm gonna go with a team that, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with the puns. Team that's on the hunt. It's literally in the name. I'm going with Huntington. Don't laugh. You did this. All right, so I had to do it. I had to meet you at least one pun before the video ends. I'm going with Huntington. I feel like they're a deep team, maybe an underrated team, and I think they ended the season with some key wins. You beat St. Francis. You beat LSU Shreveport. You have some of these wins. You narrowly lost to IWU. So there's a lot of good building there from last year. So I'm going to be very excited to see what they do in the Crossroads League. Lex, we're here, dog. This last pick for each of us, this episode will end with our preseason being done, and the next episode will be our first real one getting ready for the season. Lex, to end your preseason for our first podcast preseason in the 2025-2026 NAIA Women's Hoop Report My Team Draft, who is your final pick from the GPAC?
My final pick is Dakota Wesleyan.
I know what you're doing, and I appreciate you. And I'll let the people know what you mean in a minute here. But go ahead, talk to me about Dakota Wesleyan.
Talk about a big three in a conference that we define as the standard. You have three very reliable ladies that you can count on to give you a bucket, a stop, a highlight play, a closeout factor, and then multiply all that by 3 in the same game. I don't know how else you can describe it besides impactful.
What Lex just did for you folks, because we had to talk about it off air. We were talking about the GPAC and stuff, and I was like, I really wanted to go first in GPAC, but he was like, he let me take this pick, because the obvious pick is, and I'm going to play the sound just one last time, just so everybody can end on a good note. My pick in the 2025-2026 My Team Draft is going to be Dort. Don't need to say enough. I appreciate you for letting me take that, because I gave you the first pick, but you let me get Dort on the back end. So I appreciate you, dog. Again, you watch my back, I watch forward. That's how we do this here. That's how we do it here. So I appreciate you, dog. I really do. But that's going to do it for our episode. I really appreciate everybody that has been with us in this journey of preseason. It's been a long run. Was it 3 months now that we've been doing this? Videos every Friday, content throughout the week. Very, very excited. Special shout out to Caleb. We have a new member joining us as well, that you will see her on the air a lot throughout the season and help Lex and I throughout the coverage and stuff. But we really appreciate you guys for being a part of our first ever drafts. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. We hope that you guys are rocking with one of our teams. We'll post on the socials our team, so everybody can kind of see how everything went and all the picks and everything like that. But we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch y'all in the next one. The season's here, y'all. See you on the other side.